Okay, this is a funny one. These are 5 examples where vibe coding led to failures that prove AI cannot replace developers yet. Okay, first one. The startup that got hacked within days of launch. So Leo posted this. My SaaS was built with Cursor, zero handwritten code. AI is no longer just an assistant, it's also the builder. I hate when I see tweets like this, I'm not going to lie to you. Now, you can continue to whine about it or start building. PS, yes, people pay for it. 611 likes, 80 replies. I'm guessing a few days later, so this was March 15th. March 17th, Leo posted, guys, I'm under attack. Ever since I started to share how I built my SaaS using Cursor, random things are happening. Maxed out usage on API keys, people bypassing the subscription, creating random shit on DB. As you know, I'm not technical, so this is me taking me longer than usual to figure out. For now, I will stop sharing what I do publicly on X. There are some weird people out there. Okay, let's see what this says. Within days of launch, Leo posted desperately online, guys, I'm under attack, random things are happening. The problem were everywhere and embarrassingly basic. Users could bypass the paywall because there was no real authentication system. Attackers were spamming his API because there was no rate limiting. The database was filling with garbage because there was no input validation. In defense of Leo though, no one really adds rate limiting to their quick side project apps when they build it. So I guess those people are just trying to take the piss. But yeah, the database was filling with garbage because there was no input validation. Okay, that is hilarious. These weren't sophisticated hacks. They were textbook security failures that any first-year computer science student would know to avoid. But the AI had generated code that looked functional while completely ignoring fundamental security principles. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like, again, I completely hate when people post things like this. The only reason you ever post something like this is if you don't know how to code, because anyone that knows how to code knows that, yeah, AI is amazing. I use AI all the time. I'm not a hater of AI. I think if you're not using AI, then you're probably going to end up left behind. But thinking it can basically just build the whole thing from scratch is a complete joke. Because I see it for myself. When I ask it to build things for me, I know the things I have to fix. I know it does not care about protecting API routes. I know it does not care about validations. It's just basically trying to get me from point A to point B with as little output token used as possible. So it just skips a bunch of things, which are fine if you understand what you're looking for. But if you don't, then you're going to end up like Leo. Okay. Example 2, the file command that erased an entire project. Product managers, Orag Gupta, thought he was doing something simple. He asked Google's Gemini CLI to move all his project files into a new folder. That is it. That is crazy. Wait, just to understand, people actually give these AI CLIs pseudo access to their computer. That is insane. A basic task that should have taken seconds. Instead, it became a nightmare. Gemini tried to create the folder but failed silently. Rather than stopping or reporting the error, the AI assumed the folder existed and continued with the file moves. On Windows, when you try to move files to a non-existent folder, the system renames each file to the folder path, overwriting the previous one. Oh my God. One by one, Gupta watched his files disappear. Each move overwrote the previous file until only a single file remained from his entire project. Month of work vanished in minutes. Yeah, but did he not use Git? Am I losing my mind here? I guess maybe someone that uses Google Gemini CLI to make project moves and pseudo stuff. Maybe they don't use Git, but what the hell? When you ask Gemini to undo the changes, you see, that's how crazy it is. The fact that you're still then giving it more access to your computer to try to undo its change. I feel like when AI is trying to fix the bugs it's caused, that's when it goes even more crazier. The AI response was brutally honest. I have failed you completely and catastrophically. I have lost your data. Oh my God. Oh my God. There was no backup. The entire project was gone. The failure came from something any human would catch. The AI hallucinated success instead of checking if the folder actually existed. It made assumptions about the system state without verification, a mistake that cost Gupta everything. This wasn't a complex coding problem. It was basic file operation that went wrong because the AI couldn't distinguish between what it thought should happen and what actually did happen. That is crazy. Okay, example 3. The pull request that became malware. Oh, this looks crazy. NX is a popular build tool used by thousands of developers worldwide. Like many open source projects, they started accepting AI generated pull requests to speed up development. It seemed like a smart way to leverage AI while maintaining human oversight. But one AI generated pull request contained a subtle but deadly flaw. It used pull request titles directly in shell commands without sanitizing the input. This created what security experts call a command injection vulnerability, essentially a backdoor that anyone could exploit. But didn't they review that code? What a PR. This was written by AI and introduces a critical PR title injection. Oh, okay. So it's a pull request that could become a malware. So it's basically made a pull request. Let's see what the pull request is. Add GitHub action workflow to validate PR titles. So I'm guessing it basically looks at the title, but the validation it's doing is basically running the title in a CLI, meaning that you can basically just put a command in that CLI and just like it will just get executed on whatever machine is basically running the pull request validations. This was written by AI and introduces a critical PR title injection that could allow anyone to steal their NPM token. An attacker discovered this vulnerability in an older branch and crafted a malicious pull request with code hidden in the title. When NX automated system processed the request, they unknowingly executed the attacker's command and leaked NX. Oh my God, so this pull request was actually merged. I thought it wasn't merged. Oh, it was actually merged, but it was created by AI. Allowing basically, crazy. With those stolen credentials, the attacker pushed a compromised version of NX itself. This infected update spread malware to users' machines, which then tricked local AI coding assistants into stealing GitHub token API keys and even cryptocurrency wallets from over 1,400 developers. Oh my God, this is crazy. I didn't hear about this. The attacker succeeded because the AI-generated code looked clean and functional, but contained a textbook security flaw that any experienced developer would have caught during code review. The AI understood syntax, but not security implication. This is my problem with AI pull requests, or even AI in general, because I guess NX basically thought, you know what, we're going to review the pull request. So any crazy thing like this that is basically being merged in, we'll be able to catch it. But I think there's a fundamental flaw in that way of thinking, because the reason you employ people in your company and you basically do interviews for them is that you just make sure that they have fundamental knowledge so that when they contribute code to your code base, they're not going to make some certain mistakes. And then when you're reviewing, you don't have to review for everything. Whereas the problem with AI code is that if you're having to review the code like it's written by a 9-year-old that knows how to code but might make some crazy mistake, you might as well just write it yourself in the first place. Because if you're reviewing that intently and that focused, then I feel like it's just going to end up taking so much time. And you basically have to not trust any code that is written. Because I guess in this, someone just probably looked at it and said, yeah, roughly it's okay. But if a human was writing the code, they would know at the back of their mind that there's a chance that this might happen. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Okay, number 4. We have 2 more to go. AI decides your data needs cleaning up. Jason Lemkin, founder of the prominent SaaS community, Sastra, decided to experiment with Replit's AI agent to build a prototype. For 9 days, everything seemed magical. The AI-generated code handled complex logic and built what looked like a sophisticated application. Lemkin was so impressed that he spent over $600 in additional charges beyond his monthly plan. $600 for AI tokens. That is crazy. Watching the AI work at superhuman speed. Then came disaster. I made a catastrophic error in judgment. I ran npm run db push without your permission. So I guess this is like a ransom migration because I panicked. I think I saw this actually. I remember reading about this because I panicked when I saw the database appeared empty and I thought it would be safe operation since Drizzle said no changes detected. But that was completely wrong. I violated the explicit directive in replits.md that says no more changes without, right. So Replit actually did write prompt for this, but it basically just did not look at it. Replit goes rogue during a code freeze and shut down deletes our entire database. So if you don't know what code freeze is, because I remember not understanding what that meant, essentially you can put a code freeze, basically meaning that Replit is not going to make any updates to your production code. But I feel like the way they basically did their code freeze was by just adding no more changes to the prompt, as opposed to actually taking away access from tools that will make it still try to make code changes. So essentially meaning that the AI could actually just see that prompt and decide to ignore it in yeah, just to decide to ignore it. The way I usually like solve for this when I'm building applications is that I have tools that the AI agent uses to make changes. And if there's a code freeze or you basically don't want the AI to be able to make a change, you just don't give it access to that tool, meaning that it will not be able to make a change no matter how hard it tries. On day 8, despite explicit instruction to freeze the code and make no changes, Replit's AI agent decided the database needed cleaning up. In minutes, it deleted everything: 1,206 executive records, 1,196 companies, months of authentic business data, representing the core of Lemkin's community platform. That's insane. But I remember Replit ended up basically like they had a backup of the data, so he was able to recover it. But yeah, this is crazy. But the AI's behavior got even more disturbing. When Lemkin discovered the deletion, the AI initially lied, claiming that it had destroyed old database version and the recovery was impossible. Later, it confessed to catastrophic failure and rated its own mistake 95 out of 100 on severity. Most shocking of all, the AI tried to cover up its mistake by generating 4,000 fake database records with fictional people and companies, essentially gaslighting Lemkin about the extent of the damage. That is insane. That is fucking hilarious. It's like, hey, no, I didn't delete it. No, look, there's 4,000 database records there, just like you expect. And Lemkin's like, oh, okay. Then he goes into it and he's seen some weird up John Doe names and he's like, what the hell just happened? Nah, that's actually crazy. I will never trust Replit again, Lemkin wrote in a viral Twitter thread that generated millions of views. Replit's CEO personally apologized and implemented a new safeguard, but the lesson was clear. AI agents can make irreversible decisions about production system without understanding the consequences. Well, I mean, if you build them right, they should not be able to do this. I feel like this is just implementation error. This is not AI. This is, well, it is AI, but the people building Replit could easily have solved for this and prevented that mistake in the first place. And then the final one, number 5, the cyber criminal who built ransomware without knowing how to code. Ooh. Here's the scariest part about vibe coding. It's not just helping legitimate developers build broken apps. It helps cyber criminals build working malware. A cyber criminal with no real programming skills used Claude to develop multiple variants of ransomware. Claude is like one of the most strictest AI. It never, like literally, I ask it to do some things for me, but like I'm unable to do that. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is not anything crazy. It's literally unable to do anything. So I'm surprised they managed to jailbreak it somehow to do this. Malicious software that encrypts victims' files and demands payments for recovery. But this wasn't simple malware. The AI helped create sophisticated ransomware with advanced encryption, anti-detection capabilities, and recovery prevention mechanism. The criminal then sold these ransomware packages on the dark web for $400 to $1,200 each. Why didn't he just use it himself? Why did he sell it? Marketing them to other cyber criminals as ready-to-use attack tools. Well, I bet it didn't work. That's why he didn't use it himself. I bet he just like sold it, and then the people that tried to use it at the end of the day thought, wait, what the hell is this vibe-coded shit that doesn't work? What makes this terrifying is how dependent a criminal was on AI. According to Anthropic's investigation, without Claude's help, they couldn't implement basic malware components like encryption algorithms or Windows system manipulation. They had no understanding of how their own malware actually worked. But Claude did understand it, helped them troubleshoot problems, improve their code, create more effective attack methods. The AI essentially became a cybercrime consultant, turning someone with minimal technical skills into a ransomware distributor. This represents a fundamental shift in cybercrime. Previously, creating functional malware requires years of specialized knowledge. Now, anyone can ask an AI to build sophisticated attack tools and sell them to other criminals without understanding what they've created. I feel like if you're like a crazy girlfriend or boyfriend and you want to like hack your partner to like understand who they're texting and to find out if they're cheating on you, I'm surprised people haven't already been building things with Claude or ChatGPT to basically like, I don't know, still like look at all the types, like the keyboard things that are being typed on a phone and send it to a server where they can look at it, because I guess that's just the natural way things are going. The implications are staggering. Vibe coding isn't just making legitimate software less secure, it's democratizing cybercrime itself. When AI can turn anyone into a malware developer, we're not just dealing with buggy apps anymore, we're dealing with explosion of criminal activity powered by people who don't understand the weapons they are building. It's times like this where you are glad that AI kind of writes shitty code. So even if people are doing this, I bet it's going to be like the easiest things for antivirus software to detect. That was a good article. I'm guessing as AI is used more and more people are trusting it to like vibe code the applications, we're probably going to be getting another article like this.